Hey guys, John V from PhoneArena here. You're watching our video comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge and the Apple iPhone 6. The iPhone 6's success is ongoing. As we've seen already, it's a stellar smartphone. There's a reason why people keep on buying it. But Samsung's hoping that the Galaxy S6 Edge is going to be even more compelling, not just because of its looks, but also for its overall performance and package. Both handsets are just stunning with their designs. Premium quality every way you look at it, from the constructions, choice of materials. There's a lot to like with both of them. Now, the iPhone 6 stands out partly for its, more comfortable feel in the hand. It's rounded in edges, so it fits our hand better. And it's also the more compact handset. And with its aluminum trim, I would say it's a lot more durable than the Galaxy S6 Edge. Now, the most notable thing about the S6 Edge is naturally the dual curved display. It gives it a totally different look that we don't really see too often in smartphones. And we do like how the light reflects and bounces off the Gorilla Glass 4 surfaces. It just has a really nice dazzling effect. But when it comes to the in-the-hand feel, it's not quite as comfortable because of the sharp edges. They both employ fingerprint sensors, of course, incorporated into their home buttons, and they both employ the same process, so they're pretty easy. But the S6 Edge has a little bit more features. You gain things like an IR blaster, which doubles as a universal remote. You have the heart rate sensor in the back, which you could measure your pulse, built-in wireless charging, and it's just a little bit more, especially with the dual curved display. You have some functionality with that. In particular, you have access to some of your favorite contacts. It lights up in this cool pattern when you get a phone call from one of your favorite contacts, and you get some of those useful tickers when the display's off you could actually access. Now, the displays are brilliant and sharp with both. We can't complain. You have a larger 5.1-inch Quad HD Super AMOLED display in the Galaxy S6 Edge. The iPhone 6, though, has a 4.7-inch Retina display. It's an IPS LCD panel. Now, on paper, there's a lot going for the S6 Edge, just because with Quad HD, it does make a pretty good amount of difference when we look at the displays up close and personal. It does exhibit more detail, but from a normal distance, you'd be hard-pressed to notice any differences at all. They're both equally sharp, we'd say. But the S6 Edge has a more ideal color temperature, and it's also more color accurate than the IPS LCD Retina display of the iPhone 6. The thing going with the iPhone 6, though, is that it shines brighter, but we really can't complain about both, to tell you the truth. Now, it's iOS versus Android, of course, with Samsung's interpretation, which is naturally TouchWiz. Now, if you're more about simplicity, go with iOS 8. It's straightforward, to the point, there are no redundancies, and it's complemented with some really cool looking animations, and it's probably the easier platform to understand right from the get-go. So if you're a new user, you're going to fit in with iOS 8. It's just a lot less hassle that comes with it. But with the TouchWiz experience running on top of Android 5.0 Lollipop, you do have a higher degree of personalization. That's with Android General, but you also have the ability to download and install various themes to change up the look even more. And naturally, for power users, they'll really appreciate some of the other essential features, like multi-window for true multitasking, and you have also things like a one-handed mode for easier interaction with the interface. But and it's just a matter of convenience whether or not you prefer the simple and quick options that you have with iOS 8, or the more diversified portfolio you get with the S6 Edge. Performance-wise, we can't complain just because they're both exceptionally fast and fluid. The S6 Edge powered by the octa-core 64-bit base Exynos chip from Samsung. Meanwhile, the iPhone 6 is powered by Apple's own dual-core 64-bit base A8 chip. And honestly, when it comes to the same task, opening up application, basic things, they exhibit pretty much the same flawless responses. And for gaming too, they handle it pretty well, though there's a little bit more fluidness going with the iPhone 6. That's partly because of the Quad HD resolution of the S6 Edge. It just takes a little bit more processing power, so you might notice just a few drops in frame rate, but still not bad at all. When we look at their cameras, it's a 16 megapixel autofocus camera in the Galaxy S6 Edge versus the 8 megapixel iSight camera of the iPhone 6. Now, the main difference here is, of course, the double amount of megapixels that the Galaxy S6 has to offer, but also the wider aperture. You have a 1.9 aperture lens versus an f2.2 aperture lens in the iPhone 6. Now, we won't deny it, the two are more than exceptional when it comes to snapping photos when there's a lot of lighting, but seeing that the Galaxy S6 has a 60 megapixel camera, it naturally takes a lot more detail than the iPhone 6, though colors tend to be a little bit more dynamic on the S6 Edge, while colors seem to be a little bit more overblown with the iPhone 6. But honestly, you're gonna like what you're gonna find when it comes to outdoor shots. Under lower lighting conditions, we give the slight advantage to the S6 Edge, even though it's a small one. And depending on the situation, sometimes we favor the S6 Edge's results, and other times it's the iPhone 6. It's just that with the wider aperture, it's able to bring in more light, and on top of that, just a little bit more detail. And the same thing applies with video recording quality. Obviously, 1080p is available with both, and they're both more than usable, but you have the benefit of shooting 4K video with the S6 Edge, so that's another advantage to it. When it comes to call quality, there's not one that's overly better than the other. We'd say both are average. They get the job done. We're able to comprehend our callers, carry on conversations without too much disruptions. And as far as battery life, the S6 Edge definitely has a longer tally than the iPhone 6 in our battery benchmark tests. But everyday use, you'd probably get at least a solid 1 day use out of both handsets, if not more with the S6 Edge because of that. So at the end of the day, it's honestly going to be a personal preference that's going to dictate the winner in this comparison. Some people will probably like the iPhone 6 more than the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge, and vice versa, obviously. It just depends on what matters most to you. If you want a handset that's going to offer a simple, straightforward experience, go with the iPhone 6. It's still a class-leading phone. It's great in several areas. And again, there's a reason why it's a hot seller in the space. But if you want something unique looking and want the power of Android, specifically TouchWiz, Samsung's interpretation, and a cool-looking, unique design, go with the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge. So if you guys want to learn more about either handset, you can check out our website, PhoneArena.com. Thanks for watching.